Mesachas Pesachim daf samach hey. The Gemara learns out from a Korban Pesach, from Oila, that needs a zrika neged hayesod. Tosfos and Zvachim asked the kasha, why is it that Oila Sa'oif doesn't need as well also zrika neged hayesod? That means its zrika was on the Mizrach Yisrael's corner, that on that corner didn't have a base on the bottom, didn't have a yesod on the bottom of the mizbeach. And why is it that it doesn't need it like all the korbanos zrika neged hayesod? The Briskerov in the Sefer answers Tosfos' kasha, and he says that be'emes it's mavur that we need a zrika neged hayesod. That means the side of the mizbeach neged hayesod is not the pshat that it's a mokum ba'alma on the mizbech, it's a kviyas mokum ba'alma mizbech. The pshat is it's a kiyum din, that it's a skayim din of the Matanos on the yesod. With the fact that the zrika was done on the wall of Mailam Yesod, it's considered a matana on the Yesod, similar to what we're learning out from the Shrika Shirayim, that it's niskayim din with the Yesod itself. And according to that, Briskerov says that only pertains to the chatzitza mizbeach ulamata. However, the chatzitza mizbeach ulamata, it's more the Rishonim that over there it's not niskayim with the matana on the upper half of the mizbeach, or matana to the yesod. So therefore, since by Oila Sa'oif the mokum and the matana is on the chatzitza mizbeach ulamala, so therefore neged yesod and not neged yesod is all the same, because it can't be niskayim a din matana keged yesod, since the matanas was on the chatzitza mizbeach u'lamayla. Moving further on, the Gemara basis there was a shvachu lebnei Aaron sheyelchu ala krusei bedam. There was a shvach for them to go and walk in the dam that was in the Beis Hamikdash at the time of the shechita of the Korban Pesach. The Chassam Seif and Sukkah brings an interesting smach from Al Gemara, that he says a chiddush that if you have a esrik that it became a number, it came not hodder on sukkahs through the fact that people used it many times over sukkahs, and since so many people held the esrik, it lost its hodder. So he says a chiddush that's not a chasor, and hodder is the same way it's before in Agamora, that shvachu l'koyanim, that they should get themselves dirty from the dam of the korbanos. So therefore, hu adin by a esrig, it's a shvach for the esrig to get menumah and to get discolored from the mishmush of the mitzvah. Ayin Moed Mizman from Moshe Sternbach that he asked on the Chassam Seif that over here it's not an issue, it's not a psul in hodor if kohenim walk around with 30 feet. It's only because of hekvei or no. Mashain Kain by esrig, it's a psul in the esrig because of chasar and hodor. How do you compare it? Ayin Sham. The Mari asks the kasha that if the kohenim are walking in the Beis Hamikdash and there's the blood on the floor, it's a chatzitza. The Gemara says, lach be'eni chatzitza. The Shvus Yaakov in his Chuvas is a very strong question from Al Gemara. It says, why is it a chasar and chatzitza? The fact that the kohenim have blood on them at the time of the avodah, it's a vor in Shulchan Aruch, a sheichet that has blood on himself, it's not considered chatzitza, since it's his derech to walk around with blood on his fingers because of his malacha. It's not considered a chatzitza, that's normal for him. So the same thing should be, if since it's a shvach for kohenim to go and walk around in the Beis Hamikdash, adal kavuzeim molei dam, it shouldn't be a chatzitza. And he says, don't say that over here, since the blood was in the bottom of his feet, it's not considered a miyut, it's considered a ruboy because it's roiv at the bottom of the foot, because he says, no, you have to look at the whole entire body, and it's considered a miyut. I see the answer is Shvus Yaakov said, Kash, he says you have to look at the foot itself, and since the bottom of the foot is considered a roiv, that the roiv of the bottom of the foot has a chatzitza of blood on it, therefore it's considered a rubai and not a miyutai. He says the same way by Netilas Yadayim, you have to look at the roiv of the yad. You don't look at the roiv of the entire goof. Chatzitza and Netilas Yadayim. So in the same way, for chatzitza, by the feet of the kohanim, you have to look at roiv of the bottom of the feet. Then he says another teretz besides the blood that's connected to the feet is also blood on the bottom of the ritzpah, and the ritzpah, you can't say it's a miyat and it's bottled to the goof because it's not shaykh to the goof b'chal, it's attached to the ritzpah. In the kasha, yesh lefalpel, that it could be only a sheikhet that his derech is to walk around with bloody hands, and that is a normal fashion for sheikhet to walk around. However, kohen, although it's a shvach for him to walk in the blood, Erev Pesach in the Beis Hamikdash, it's not a normal way for kohen to walk around, so therefore it has a chashivas of a chatzitza. In the Mars teretz that lach, the blood was lach, ve'ini chotzitz. The Birkei Yosef in Hilchas Tefillin has a very interesting discussion based on this Gemara. He says that it's mavur the Mishnah Melech in the Hilchas Avodas Yom Kippurim that says that it's mavur in the Mishnah that the Kohen Gadol, when he came out of the mikvah in Yom Kippur, was olav in his stopik. And the Mishnah Melech says olav in his stopik means he dried himself off. So the Mishnah Melech says, is that a din that he has to dry himself off? It's urchet milsa that when he came out of the mikvah, he dried himself off. And the Mishnah Melech explains the reason why it should be a chiyuv to dry himself off, because without that it will be a chatzitza. The fact that he has wet, his body is wet, if he'll put on the big dekuna with his wet body, it'll be a chatzitza bein gufoi the big dekuna. So the Mishnah, the Birkei Yosef says that according to that, if somebody has wet hair at the time that he's putting on tefillin shel rosh, it's also a chasaron of a chatzitza being gufoy the tefillin, and should dry his hair off before he puts on the tefillin shel rosh. However, the Birkei Yosef asked that it's tzarich in gadol from our Gemara. Our Gemara is mvur that if you have something wet, lach hu ve'einei chotzitz. If it's wet, it's not a chatzitza. So the same way, water in somebody's hair, or water being gufoy, the big dekuna, shouldn't be a chatzitza. So the Birkei Yosef answers a tremendous chiddush that we're concerned by big dekuna is not because of a regular halacha chatzitza. It's a special halacha in big dekuna that the big dekuna has to be al besori. The same way we find that there can't be a ruach, a wind between gufoy, the big dekuna. It's a specific choimer. In regard to big dekuna, has to be al besori. It's not less the hilchas of the chatzitza and kol kula. So therefore, the gabi tefillin as well, it would not be a chasaron to have wet hair when you're putting on tefillin. I in the sefer Oitze Chidushim and Meseches Yuma, it brings a chiddush from Moshe Soloveitchik that asks on the Mishnah Melech, why specifically by the avodas hayom of Yom Kippur does it say olav in the stopik? It doesn't say in any other halachas of Levisha's big dekuna that you have to dry yourself off. So he says a chiddush that in regard to the visha of big dekuna of Kohen Gadol by Yom Kippur is the actual putting on is the kiyam din, and it's different than all of the visha of big dekuna. All of the visha of big dekuna, the kiyam din is only that he should be wearing big dekuna. However, by avodas Yom Kippur, by the Kohen Gadol, the actual putting on is part of the seder of avodas Yom Kippur, and it's a kiyam din by itself. So therefore, specifically by the visha's big dekuna, that the actual Maisa Levisha's, the Kiyam Din, it has to be dry. However, all other Levisha's Big Dekuna, since afterwards it will dry off right away, so therefore it's not a chasaron b'chlal to be wet when you're putting on the begodim, as long as afterwards it'll dry up. So according to that, we can explain that Hu Din by Tefillin, since according to Tzafnas Panech, the Kiyam Din on Tefillin Shel Rosh is the Yesha have Tefillin Shel Rosh, not the Maisa Hanacha. So therefore, it doesn't make a difference the fact that at the time of the Hanacha, the hair is wet, as long as afterwards it'll dry up. It's in Mekayim, the mitzvah of Hanacha's Tefillin. Moving on, the Gemara says that Kol Echad, the Echad Neisin Pischai Ba'oyrei Mafshil Echad. They put the Korban Pesach in its skin and put it behind the back. This is a very interesting explanation why specifically they put the Korban Pesach in its or, and explained because it's halacha that by Korban Pesach is kachim, and kachim and nifsal b'hesach hadas, and it's more than before. It's because of chashash tumah, and so therefore The etzim in the Mishnah that chatos, you have to watch lefonav, and you shouldn't put lachurov, because lachurov in back of you is a chesorin of hesach. So therefore you put it ba'oirei is mavur, that's not mekabel tumah, so therefore you don't have a chesorin of Kabbalah's tumah. Ein Chazon Yechezkel that discusses why does the Me'ach say l'madam psula begufa. He says l'madam psula begufa. The fact that you're holding it on your back, you're not mesiach das. And he says further, maybe since you learn from Shreres Tumasi, you can't learn out from Truma to Kach the Gabi Psula Gov. Ein that goes over the Simcha in the New Sameach that discusses an interesting question. The Reb Chaim had a hakpoda not to let children steal the afikoymen, because he said it's chasor hesach hadas, since afikoymen is milesed the korban Pesach. And he asked, according to Asameach, you have an eitz, you could just put the afikoymen in a kli that's not makabel tumah and let the children steal it, ma'ayin sham.